Good morning. This is Jeff Pastor, Chair of the Lancaster Board of Health. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. I'm calling the meeting to order. We have Sheila Follett, board member here, as well as Bill Brookings, our agent from the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health, and Samantha Zedeker, Administrator for Lancaster Department of Health and Human Services. I'd like to welcome all the guests that are here. Remind everyone that the meeting is being recorded, and ask that if I cannot see your full name, such as Anna's iPad, if you could adjust your name on the Zoom screen to show your first and last name, that would be appreciated. As I go through the agenda, I will ask to see if any of the guests are here for a specific agenda item. Sometimes we can adjust the order of the agenda to address people's issues and get them in and out of the meeting efficiently. If you do have any questions or comments about any agenda items, please indicate that to me by raising your hand. Either just raise your hand if I can see you, or raise your electronic hand. You should have a command, a Zoom command at the bottom of your screen that says either raise hand or a reactions command that should include raise hand as one of the options. When I do recognize you, just keep your questions, comments as brief and specific to the agenda item as possible. If you're here for some reason other than what's on the agenda, I will try to get to that at the end of the meeting. Again, Anna's iPad, can you change your name or let me know what your full name is so that we can make sure that you can be part of the meeting? All right. All right, why don't we start with our agenda? Bill, do you want to kick us off with the permits, 88 Shirley Road?
Yeah, 88 Shirley Road. I think we have a plan for that, Samantha. We had a failed Title V on that a couple meetings ago, and this is the resulting upgrade septic system plan, straightforward. No variance is required. Soil was deep dry sand and gravel, so it's a gravity system, 1,500-gallon septic tank, and 20 by 30 stone and pipe conventional leach bed. So I don't know if the board has any questions on that.
I don't. Do you, Sheila? Sheila, you're on mute. I'm waiting for Sheila. Oh, there she goes. Okay. Did you have any
All set.
questions on this one, Sheila? Okay.
No, I am all set. Thank you.
Okay. So, Bill, I think we're all set on this one. I think you can, on behalf of the board, take this to the next step.
Yeah, one correction. I did say gravity. It actually, if we blow that up a little bit, there is a septic tank and pump chamber pumping to that bed, and that is just a function of where that existing plumbing comes out of the house. I guess they could not make gravity.
Samantha, could you close the bookmarks part of that screen just so we can see the whole map? Okay, that doesn't really change any of our issues, I don't think, as a board, right, Bill?
It does not.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So why don't we let that one go through and take it to the next step, and no vote needed, correct?
No, just I will draft a permit and sign it for the board.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, Bill. Thanks, Bill. How about 100 Fire Road, the T-box?
That is a D-box replacement called out in a Title V inspection report later on in the agenda. So again, that's just a straightforward component replacement, which again, I can draft a permit and sign it for the board.
Okay. All right, so that covers the Title V inspection as well as the plan.
Yep.
All right, we appreciate it. All set on that one. How about the new lot on White Pond Road?
Chris Anderson is here for that. He's the engineer, and he may want to discuss that proposed project. And we do have a plan for that also.
All right, let's call up the plan, blow it up maybe a little bit, Samantha, if you can. And Chris, did you want to say anything to the board about this project?
Sure, I can say a few brief words here. So it's a proposed multifamily development, 4 units with 3 bedrooms each. So for a grand total of 12 bedrooms on the site. That does bring us awfully close to the threshold for a public water supply well. So we did reach out to DEP and did receive a determination from them that the well on the site is not considered a public water supply, so it falls under the board's jurisdiction. Besides that, we're proposing a 4,000 gallon tank with a 2,000 gallon pump chamber going to a advanced enviroseptic Presby system. No waivers or variances requested. It's full compliance with all the regulation.
Okay, so you're looking for approval on this plan for both a new well? Is it a new well as well as the Presby system?
Yes, it would be a new well as well.
Okay. All right, thanks, David. Bill, any comments on this one?
No, just to elaborate on what Chris had said about DEP's determination, the threshold for public water supply is greater than 25 people for greater than 60 days a year. So if there's an assumption of 2 people per bedroom, 12 bedrooms, that brings us to 24, which is again close to that threshold. So the state did discuss in their letter possibly having some type of occupancy limit in the deed through a homeowners association. So that type of information we'd be looking for from the proponent of the project at some point, and would be required to be in the deed prior to occupancy.
And we have no issue with that. We have to set up an HOA anyway. So we can put a residence limit on each bedroom, if you will, to 2 people, so we stay below that threshold.
Yeah, that works.
So is the threshold 25 or less, or is it less than 25?
I think it's 25 or greater. I'd have to look at the definition, but again, 24 is below that.
Okay. All right, so as part of this project, we're going to expect a letter that would be part of the documents stating that in order to meet DEP requirements for a well versus public water supply, that the residents, total residents for the structure, including the 4 units, 3 bedrooms each, would be less than 25.
Correct.
Or 25 people or less to meet the requirement.
And would that have to be also noted in an HOA document as well?
Yeah, I mean, this will have some form of condominium documents, and normally there's a deed restriction on number of bedrooms per unit, and in this case, it'll limit the number of occupants per bedroom.
Yep, and that will be prepared pretty much right as closeout of the project is occurring. So when we go for the COC with the board, that document will be prepared, and we can provide that at that point in time.
I'm just trying to look at the plan here. So it looks like there are two sort of like 2 duplex buildings. Is that what I'm seeing? Each with a unit?
Correct. It's 2 buildings in a duplex style.
Okay. And the well is over to the right of that, to the east side of the drawing?
Yeah, it's up on the upper right, if you will, on the plan.
Could we
Located
enlarge
behind
that a
the,
little?
PR well, it says noted as
Thank you.
PR well, I think. You can move over to the right, Samantha, a little bit. Scroll over to the right. Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Thank you.
It's like the bullseye of that circle.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sheila, any questions or comments?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Not sure if anybody else in the meeting has anything to say about this project before we have a motion and a vote to approve the plan with the conditions noted. All right. So, go ahead, Sheila.
So I'll make a motion then to approve the plan for the let's see, so the well and the septic for the 4 units on White Pond Road, as written in the plan, with its deed restrictions.
Okay, sounds good. I'll second. Ask for a vote. Sheila,
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. So we're all set. I think we're all set, Bill, for the next steps on this one.
Yeah, again, I'll draft a permit and sign it for the board.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Let me just check with Kevin and Lori Hinckley. Notice that you're both here. Would you like to let me know what you're here for, if there's something that we can do for you before we get into the meat of our agenda?
I think we're here because, it's an agenda item that you have. I think you were looking at final inspections.
And for which property?
Oh, 194 Grant Way,
Okay.
the dust.
All right. Let's finish up the permits and then we'll go to
Sure.
194 first.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kevin. Bill, do you want to take care of 1312 Main Street system upgrade?
Did not receive that plan, so that will go to next meeting.
Okay. And we already handled under Title V inspection reports, we already handled 100 Fire Road 11, correct?
Correct. All that needed was a D-box replacement, which we handled with that permit above.
Okay. All right, so why don't we go to 194 Grant Way? So brief introduction here from what I can remember from past meetings. So we've had a complaint from the abutters of a business regarding dust coming from sand piles near their property. It's been an episodic problem. Only occurs obviously when there's wind and when it's dry, but it has been a significant issue on and off for the homeowners. Bill has had some conversation with the owner of the business, who understands the problem, and I believe, Bill, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the owner of the business has stated that he would handle the problem by moving the piles some distance away so as to no longer cause a problem for the Hinkleys. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so where are we with this right now?
I was out there soil testing last Wednesday for a project that's being proposed, and it appeared that all but one pile had been either moved or leveled.
Okay, so there's still a pile there that could be a potential problem.
Yeah, and I did speak to the owner, and that should be disappearing. I don't know if it has yet, but that will be hauled away.
Kevin, Lori, any comment about that? Is the pile still there?
I don't believe there's been any change in the last week or so.
Okay.
So there should be some level of piled that's still there, but there has been activity, a couple weeks ago to level out the main pile.
Okay. All right. Well, my sense is from what I've heard from Bill in his communications with the business owner that there's a sense of commitment to solving the
Yep.
problem. So as long as you folks are comfortable with the progress, and I know that it's been slow and things tend to take a while, due to sort of the communication processes that we have to follow. Um, that as long as you're comfortable with that progress is being made and that the Board of Health, has every intention of assuring that this problem is fixed one way or the other, ideally through just the cooperation of the business owner, then we can probably move on unless you're asking for any other action from us right now.
I think we have been extremely happy with the Board of Health and how they've been dealing with this and following up. And the the progress that's been being made, although slow, is satisfactory.
Okay. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just ask the Hinckleys to certainly call me if they're experiencing any of those issues that they've had in the past. Because even though they're leveled, we guess we got to wait and see. If a certain wind condition causes that dust to be blown around, there could be additional steps needed. So absolutely let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when the first step was made and the pile was only half leveled, there were some days that it was still horrible. I mean, I have some video of the sand just whipping up off that pile because it's so fine. But hopefully, with it being flatter and lower to the ground, that's not really going to be a concern.
Yeah, the pit owner seemed to think that face, the not vertical, but that angled face was certainly, what the wind was hitting and carrying that dust.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will solve the
Yep.
problem. But if not, there are additional steps that can be taken.
Okay, we will let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for all your help. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted. I just want to make sure that you're aware, and just for the record, that the board takes this kind of problem very seriously. It's far more than just an aesthetic problem. I know the sand is getting, all the way up to your house, and it's, causing that kind of problem, but it's clearly potentially a health risk as well. That's my vector on it, and I do want to make sure that we get it fixed as soon as possible. And Bill, I'd like the next time you speak to the pit owner, just let him know that while we really appreciate his cooperation, that we really would like this resolved quickly at this point. That it's been really been going on too long.
Sure.
And the Board of Health in its meeting today raised concerns about potential health issues. So the sooner he can fix the problem, the better off we will all be.
So
All right.
I guess I could think one comment is that all this is going on with no activity in terms of mining, moving the piles and such, meaning it's not like they're actively working piles, picking up sand, loading into trucks, and then dust coming from that. It's just from stationary piles. So
Understood.
if they actually start doing work back there while they're doing, the sand and gravel type work, are there dust mitigation protocols that need to be followed during that activity? Because I've never seen that type of activity. So that's something that might want to be discussed with the owners, that if they are going to be actually working there, are there then dust suppression techniques that they would be using?
Yeah, again, if it causes a nuisance,
Yeah.
it would be us pursuing it. But again, it appears that in that earth removal products permit, there is a dust control mitigation section. I don't know if it gets into detail, but they would be held to that also. I don't think they'd be, hopefully they wouldn't be allowed to operate without complying with that portion of their permit.
Okay.
And as you know,
Right,
there's
so-
those warehouses being proposed out there. And again, during construction, I absolutely hope they have some type of plan in writing. That'll be something planning and the Board of Health will be looking for sure.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Certainly for future activity, we'll have our eye on things, and we'll expect to hear from you folks if there is future activity that's causing any problem, and we would step in and again make sure that the provisions of the regulations that they're already operating under are followed. And if they are, if, you know, hypothetically, if they're being followed, but there's still a problem, then we can still take action. So let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. So we'll keep this one on the agenda because problem is not resolved. Bill will convey the Board of Health concerns to the pit owner, and hopefully we'll have this thing resolved well before our next meeting. All right, Sheila, any questions or comments before we move on?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kevin and Lori, for coming and, you know, welcome your feedback and your input. We have Gregory Clouda here. Gregory Clouda, just want to check in with you and see what, if any, agenda item you are here to speak to.
I was interested in following progress on the next item on the agenda, which was the 696 warehouse proposal.
Okay.
So I don't
All right,
have anything specific to say, but just wanted to hear the discussion.
Sure. So why don't we have that discussion now? We can take that one as our next item and cover that. That way you can hear the discussion, have any questions or comments, you can be heard, and we can let you go about the rest of your day. So Bill, 1263 North Main Street. We were still waiting for some outstanding paperwork, I believe, right?
Yeah, through phone conversation, the owner said he was addressing that deed notice. He was in Florida at the time. Haven't seen it yet, so I will reach out to him because that is the one document we need to issue the certificate of compliance.
And how long have we been in contact with him about this, Bill? When did all this start? Because it seems like it's been going on for a while.
Install was like April, May, got engineer and installers as built probably last month. And just this one document. So last phone conversation was probably around last meeting or just after.
Okay. Are you concerned about his response, Bill? Should we just let it ride and assume he will get to it?
He's always said what he said he was going to do. He's never indicated by action or by discussion that he wouldn't. But again,
Okay.
you know, it doesn't take forever to get this thing recorded, so I'll be happy to call him.
My request, Bill, would be for you to make another call.
Yep.
Let him know this came up at the board meeting again. Let him know that the chair is concerned with the amount of time that it's taking to get this document.
Yep.
And that to avoid any kind of more direct action on our part, if he can let him know, if he can let us know if there's any reason we cannot get this document within the next 5 to 7 business days.
I will do that.
Let's give him a little deadline and make sure that he understands that we're not just asking, we're expecting it before we take what other further action might be available to us.
All right, will do.
All right, so Bill will address this with, this is with the installer, right?
No, the property owner.
The property owner, okay,
Yep.
so he has to get, okay. All right, very good. Greg, any questions or comments?
No, I'm sorry, I may have misspoke. I was interested in 696 Fort Pond Road, the warehouse project.
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't exactly the next one, my mistake.
All right, that was maybe I misheard you as well. So, all right, well, we've handled 1263 North Main Street. Let's move on to 696 Fort Pond Road. There's a proposed warehouse there, which we are aware of. I'm pretty sure, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, that we've been given a set of plans for that proposal, but it has not yet gone through planning or building.
I'm not sure about planning a building. I've reviewed the septic plans. I've issued a list of review comments to the engineer, which included additional soil testing, which we did last Wednesday. So we will be getting a set of revised plans, and I think they hope to be on the August meeting, possibly for a septic permit. Really depends on when I receive the plans.
Okay, so really our only concern as a Board of Health with regard to this project is the septic system that's going to be required.
Septic system approval by the board, and I don't know that we've seen any written commitment from Shirley on the public water that's being proposed, but that would be a discussion we'd have when we're looking at the plans with the engineer. They've indicated they've gotten the approval, but I don't know that we've seen it in writing.
Okay. So when we do get another set of plans, then we'll be expecting the engineer to attend the meeting to present them for the board's approval. And at that time, we can have the discussion about both making sure that the septic plan is in accordance with Title V and other regulations, as well as the water supply is understood.
Correct, because we would not approve the septic plan without having verification of town water, because if they, for some reason, didn't get town water, their wells would be these public water supplies well that we've been discussing, and that's a DEP approval, which is lengthy and complicated and does not involve local board of health, but that would have to be done prior to septic permit approval.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we'll keep this on the agenda
Yep.
and wait for the revised plans and the next steps with regard to the septic and water approval.
Yep. Yeah. Now, if Greg has any other questions.
Yeah, one of the questions that I had specifically, and I think I raised this previously, was around one of the clauses in the zoning regulation related to water resource district, sewage disposal system discharge. And I think, Jeff, you may have said at that meeting that the zoning laws are really the responsibility of the planning board. But when we had discussed this meeting with the planning board, the chair was quite clear that he had no intention of reviewing anything related to the septic, that was all under the jurisdiction of the Board of Health. So I'm a bit concerned
Well,
that.
the
Yeah.
engineer supplied me with an email from previous building inspector that pretty much said that loading gallons per day per acre, which mimics the requirements of Title V, are met easily by this site because of its size. So we do have that email from the previous building inspector, because he would be the enforcer of zoning.
Okay. I guess the math just wasn't working out to me. I can go back and do it, but
Well, what it comes down to is 440 gallons per day per acre, and I don't have the plan in front of me because I didn't think we'd be discussing it today.
Yeah.
You know, the lot size, is much larger than it needs to be to meet that 440 gallons per day per acre.
okay, so that is not acreage of the septic system, it's acreage under ownership. That may be where I'm getting tripped up.
Yes, yeah, lot size, the size of the lot that the project is located on versus the gallon per day proposed flow for the septic system.
Okay. Yeah, I was assuming that acreage was related to the actual septic design itself. So if it's really the lot size, yeah, they've got quite a bit of property.
Yeah, and you're welcome to contact me directly if you have specific questions on the plan.
Okay. Is that posted on the website now?
What's that?
The town website, does the proposed septic design for this project? Is it
Wouldn't normally be. We don't normally post plans on the town website. We just bring them to the specific meeting where we're discussing them.
Sam, you might be able to answer this question. The plans were electronically available during last meeting. Is that something that's available on the video of the meeting or not?
Yeah, it would be on if we showed it at the last meeting, then yes, it would be on the.
So whatever reviewed at the meeting, you could see on the video, but like the plans aren't electronically available through the meeting. It's only what we screen share during the meeting. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so Greg, if you want to sit down with me, I do have a copy of the plans. I'd be happy to look at them in more detail if you choose to.
All right, that would be great. Thank you for the offer, Bill.
Okay.
And we'll also be going over the revised plans anyway at whatever meeting they are put forward for review.
Okay.
Correct.
Greg, we showed them at on the May meeting. So if you look for them on the recording that's shown on the TV, it would be from the May Board of Health meeting.
Okay, that would be in the recording of the meeting itself, which is available on like SLC TV or,
Yes,
Correct.
yep.
right? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, if there's no other questions or discussion, we'll keep this on the agenda for follow-up, and move on. Appreciate your involvement, Greg, and, like Bill said, contact him or come back to whatever next meeting we have this on the agenda for, and we'll keep this going until we resolve it.
That sounds great. Thank you again.
Okay, very good. All right, why don't we start from the top on number 3 discussion. Let's go to 489 Neck Road. We had a reinspection of the property and the trailer issue that we had there that was done on July 2nd.
That is correct. Sheila, Melinda, and myself were on site on July 2nd and verified that the trailer has been removed from the property.
Okay. All right, so we can remove this as a closed item on the agenda.
Yes.
Very good. Next one is 27 Russell Lane. I think we were still waiting to collaborate with building to go back over there and take a look and make sure that that trailer was removed as well. Or
Yeah,
that it was
unfortunately,
not
27
occupied.
Russell, yeah, and
Yeah.
132 Kilbourne, just
Oh,
with
27.
schedules, we've been unable to line up Board of Health, myself, and Building Inspector. Mike's away this week, so I will certainly make it a priority the following week to get at least a board member, myself and Mike, out to both locations.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep 27 Russell Lane and 132 Kilbourne both on the agenda until we can coordinate schedules and get out there and take a look and then decide what next steps, if any, need to be taken.
Correct.
Okay. 704 Pond Road, which is United Ag and Turf. We have had communications, emails and voicemails, and also voice conversations back and forth with Mike DeMartin, who I believe is the Chief Financial Officer of the corporation, headquartered in Maine. And we've been assured, and Bill has had some discussions with the contractor, that the remaining items are either taken care of or in the process of being taken care of. Bill, do you have an update for us on that one?
All I can say is through discussion with the installer, the work is done. He did say the engineer went out and shot that also. So in theory, the work's done, but still we need the installer and engineers as built. So, we'll give a little bit of time for that to be done and submitted, but that should be en route. That would, there's a clear understanding that we need those documents to sign this off.
Okay. So you're gonna put out a phone call again to the installer, Bill, and make
Yeah, I
sure
can
that they
call
know.
engineer and
Yep.
unfortunately Chris Anderson that was just on, I didn't think of it, but he is the engineer for that project also. So I can call engineer and installer just to get a time frame on the submission of those documents.
Yeah, I would request that you convey it to him in the context of we're expecting them within the next 5, 7, 10, whatever you think is reasonable business days, to put a deadline on it.
Sure.
And that we've been, even though it's only been within the last month or so that we've had communication with anybody officially in charge of the company, that this has been a problem for quite a number of months, and we will see it resolved soon, ideally by him providing us with the documents within 5 to 10 business days.
Yes, correct. It does date back to last fall.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. So we'll keep that on the agenda. Hopefully we will get an update from Bill that the as-bilt's been received and that we have the certificate and all that will be complete. Next item is 724 Old Union Turnpike. Do you want to cover that one, Bill?
Yes, I probably failed to give Samantha a copy of the letter. Did I, Sam?
I
I
do
can
not
read.
have, no.
Yeah, I can read it briefly. This is from the owner of 724 Old Union Turnpike who had a new well installed. Let's see. Back in the summer of 2023, he was having problems with quantity and quantity with the existing well at his home. So there's a new well drilled. And this is what he says, writing in regards to the artesian wells at 724 Old Union Turnpike. We had an additional artesian well drilled because of inadequate water supply from the existing well. In order to have an adequate water supply, we need both wells to act together. So he's asking, normally when you drill a new well on a property that has an existing well, that existing well is considered abandoned and must be destroyed. Sometimes people will request they be allowed to be used for irrigation or livestock. In this case, he's asking to allow both wells to remain for potable use, kind of to back each other up due to the low yield on each.
It doesn't seem like an unreasonable request. Do we have a precedent for granting those kinds of like?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall in Lancaster. I know I've done it in other towns when a well is a low producer and they drill a second and that one's also a low producer. They kind of combine those efforts to get an adequate supply for the home.
What if any public health or safety dangers might there be in allowing two simultaneous artesian wells on the property?
I'm not aware of any. Again, water quality can vary in each well. But again, that's kind of addressed through treatment in the home.
Right. Okay. And that's really the homeowner's responsibility as opposed to the Board of Health.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, the only other party that would have anything to say, I would imagine, would be plumbing. So we could certainly reach out to plumbing inspector if there was any concern with whether or not there's any issues with having the two wells serve the home.
Okay. Well, why don't we see if Sheila has any questions or comments? Let's do that first, and then I'll summarize where I think we should be. Go ahead, Sheila.
Okay, I guess, my question was similar to yours, Jeff, in that, is there any regulations that they can't have two wells for personal use? And if it is the homeowner's responsibility for checking their own water quality, then I guess we need to have them be responsible for that. But I don't think that it is, not a bad idea maybe to have a plumbing inspector over there to check it out.
Well, I don't know if we have to have them go there. I think what we want to do is make a statement that the Board of Health
Make a recommendation that the owner.
we need to go on record as saying that we support the presence of two artesian wells on the single property for the reasons that the homeowner has stated, and that send that opinion in the form of a letter to the plumbing department, the water department of the town, and ask them if they have any objections.
Okay. Is it possible too that they might have any, help in solutions? I mean, is it possible that two wells won't be enough that they've drilled?
Anything's possible, but
Yeah.
according to the letter, the two wells are currently doing their job.
They're working. All right.
They're providing an adequate water supply. Yep.
So I try to keep things to the present tense and not, project too much into the what ifs. But it sounds like the request from the property owner is to be allowed to have these two wells.
Sure.
Sounds like the Board of Health is okay with that, pending agreement by our water department or the plumbing inspector or both. So why don't we agree to reach out to them in the form of a letter from the board? We can have Bill work on that with Samantha and sign it on behalf of the board, if that's okay with you, Bill.
Yes.
And we can let the homeowner know that we're in the process of getting agreement that the board at least agrees in principle that it's okay, but we want to make sure that plumbing inspector and the water department have no problem with it.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Okay. Is that good, Bill, on that one?
Works for me.
All right. Next item is with regard to some communication we received from Fort Devens. This is a recurring communication that I've seen in past years. I guess that they may send this out every year. Samantha, do you have that card scanned to show? Or can you? All right, that's the letter. So this letter, there it is, and there's the card. So the letter is from Fort Devens stating that, actually, could you go back to the letter, Samantha, please? Thank you. Just stating their public responsibility to protect the public, let people know about munitions, about installations, about training, those kinds of things. And they issue, in order to help make sure that the public understands potential dangers and way to minimize potential dangers, they issue these cards. You can call up the card again, please. And they sent us a stack of these cards, what we've done in the past, and I believe Samantha has already done this with these current cards, as we put them over in the Prescott Building lobby on the ground floor there in the back of the building for residents to see. And there's certainly ways for them to then ask questions if there are any concerns about it.
Yep,
And
I
there's
put it in the bottom of the Prescott building, and there's a stack at the community center.
okay. So yeah, so we're just reviewing this just to acknowledge that publicly that in our on the record that we received this information from Devens, and we've taken the cards and put them in areas where the public can have access to them if they need to. And unless there's any other questions or comments, I think we can close this one down. Okay. All right, very good. The last item, and I have this, at least I thought I had it. Do we have this up on the website, Samantha, the document from the summer guidance from DPH? Is there a way for you to show that? Or if not, I have the letter myself, and I can share my screen. I'll just share my. Oh, you got it. Okay.
You talking about this one or the?
Yeah, that one. Is that your screen or my screen?
That's mine.
Okay, so if you can just enlarge that, just maximize the window. Oh, is this me? I guess I'm doing this. Okay. All right, good. So this is an email that I received from the DPH talking about summer dangers. And what they did was they put together a very, very nice set of guidance, which I'm going to click on. Hopefully this will take me directly to that. Okay, except I'm not sharing. There it is. All right, that looks like your screen now, right, Samantha?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, can you maximize that one? No, just hit the maximize button. Oh, or is it already?
Yeah, it already is.
All right. Can you scroll down? So, all right, right there, you can stop right there. So this is a very nice document that the DPH put together. It talks about prevention and management of tick bites. It keeps scrolling down. We'll just cover all the areas that they cover. So they talk about tick bites, mosquito bites. There's a link to the arbovirus page about swimming and staying safe in bodies of water and also in pools. Window safety, which is another potential hazard for children, car safety in the hot weather, and then rabies exposures, sun and heat protection in general. So this struck me as a very nice document. So what we've done is we have posted on the Board of Health website the letter from the DPH as well as a link to this document. Again, just to make sure that to give our residents an opportunity to be informed about the potential dangers in the summer, as well as ways to protect themselves. So I just wanted to make sure that that was included in the record. Part and parcel of that, even though it's not technically on the agenda, is the status of arbovirus, or sarbovirus is a term which is used to include disease transmission from organisms such as ticks and mosquitoes, of which there are a number of different illnesses, diseases that can be transmitted. The DPH issues a weekly, during the peak season, issues a weekly report. That report includes number of mosquitoes found to have either AAE or West Nile virus, any mammal infections that have been found, and any human infections that have been reported. And I get these reports weekly. I send them to the Board of Health. We don't post them because they're not usually of interest. And I don't want to alarm the public, making them think that there's a problem by posting a report that basically doesn't say anything that's unusual. What is expected in the peak summer months is that mosquito testing does reveal mosquitoes carrying these diseases. Occasionally, there are human infections that result, or mammals that are infected by mosquito bites, could be horses or dogs or cats or other animals. When there are human cases, if they are anywhere near Lancaster, then I will let the board know, and we will usually post something on the website. And Samantha, can you go back to what you showed initially, which was the document about mosquito, I think it was tick or mosquito protection. Yeah. So what we did recently, a couple of weeks ago, I think, was we posted this protect from mosquito bites and protect from ticks as a result of the fact that one of the reports, a report that I got, I think 2 weeks ago, indicated that there was West Nile virus found in mosquitoes in Clinton. So again, the fact that there are infected mosquitoes nearby or even in Lancaster, haven't seen them in Lancaster yet, but we could, is not unusual. This happens every summer. And sometimes there are infections. So what we do as a Board of Health is we try to keep people aware of the potential danger and give them some opportunities to understand how to protect themselves from ticks and mosquitoes, which is what we've done. So that's all I really wanted to cover on that one. Any questions or comments from you, Sheila, or anybody else? This is just,
I was just going to comment. I do really think that it's important during the meetings in the summertime, especially to, increase public awareness of those diseases. And I do know that, usually at the beginning of the school year, so a lot of school parents are going to be aware of that if their children are in sports, because that is definitely a place where they're very watchful. So I think it's important, though, that the general public have these updates to keep them on alert. As you said, there's really no need for cause alarm right now or any of that, but it is important to be aware and keep yourself safe.
right. In fact, Samantha, if you don't mind, would you add for purposes of the next agenda, arbovirus update?
Sure.
And let's just keep that on the agenda for August and September, maybe even October.
Do that.
And that way it'll be a reminder for me to say that everything's fine or everything is not fine or whatever the case may be. All right. Fantastic. Next item is about Board of Health trailer and storage inventory. So what I've tried to do each year is to take an opportunity to have the board review its emergency equipment for EDS purposes, emergency dispensing system purposes. The board has equipment and supplies stored in 3 places. One is a trailer that's located at the firehouse. The second is a storage room on the 2nd floor of Town Hall. And the third is at the Department of Health and Human Services. There's a room toward the north end of the building near the men's room that we have some supplies. So what we are planning to do is to set a date where as many of the board members, including Samantha, will visit those areas. We will take our inventory sheet, which I keep, which Samantha and I keep reasonably meticulously, I think, that indicate what supplies we have and where are they located. We have copies of that inventory at the trailer, at the town hall room, in the town hall room, so that wherever we go, we can see what supplies we have and where they're located. So what we want to do each year is we want to go through all those supplies, make sure that everything is okay, nothing's damaged, nothing's expired, make sure our inventory is correct, give an opportunity for any new board members who have not seen this equipment and supplies to see them, to know where they are. And I've asked Samantha to try to coordinate a date, some Wednesday, sometime in, I guess in September or October, to do that. So if we haven't yet done that, we are in the process of doing that.
Yeah, I can reach out to everybody with some dates for September and get something on the calendar.
Sounds good. All right, so we'll be doing that. We have minutes to approve, and we have a next meeting date to approve. And I have no other agenda items for today. Bill or Sheila, do you guys have any agenda items that we need to add before we approve minutes and set up a meeting for August?
I do not.
I don't.
Okay, so the minutes for June 27th have been sent out. I don't believe we've had any comments or changes to them. So unless there's need for any discussion, I would look for a motion to approve.
I did note like a few spelling errors. Is that something that we would want to change in the minutes, or is that okay?
Unless they're egregious or
Yeah, no.
unless, can the minutes be understood with these spelling errors?
Just that there's just one that I would actually make note of. It's under 679 George Hill Road, letter A.
1 second, I'm trying to pull it up.
Okay.
679, letter A, yep.
It says, reinforcing that the deadline for installing and obtaining a certificate of Copaline.
Ah.
I assume that would be compliance. So that's really, when you say egregious, I mean, it's not,
I made that change.
Okay.
But I guess with that change, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for Lancaster Board of Health for Thursday, June 27th, 2024.
All right, I'll second it and I will vote aye. Sheila, your vote?
I vote aye.
All right, minutes have been approved with the change as noted. Sheila, thank you so much for taking the time to review them and finding that. Much appreciated. So minutes are approved. Let's look at our calendars for our next potential board meeting in August, which would normally be on the 26th, right?
August 26th is a Monday.
22nd would be the fourth
Oh,
Thursday.
I'm sorry,
22nd?
I'm on the wrong month.
Mhm.
August 22nd.
I do have a doctor's appointment that morning for my daughter, trying to get the rest of the stuff in before school begins. And it's right at 10 a.m. So,
Okay.
and obviously we don't know if Melinda is available that day, or if you want to go ahead and schedule and see if that works for her.
How's the 22nd for you, Bill, and for you, Samantha?
The 22nd is good for me because move-in day at UMass is either 28 or 29, and we don't know where that's going to fall yet. We haven't heard.
Yeah, that next week would be no good for me anyway. I'm away at
Right.
band camp in Maine all week. So let's plan on doing the 22nd. Samantha, could you coordinate with Melinda and just make sure that we can, once she comes back from her trip, that we can confirm with her that she's available on August 22nd?
Do we think we can push the time to 10 o'clock start or a little bit later? So I have something at 9 to 9:30 at the school that I have to be at. So I could jump on like at 9:40, but.
You want to make it, instead of 9:30 to 12, make it 10 to 12:30? We don't usually go that long anyway, but.
Yeah, I mean, that would work for me, and then I can connect with Melinda, sure.
That's fine
Okay.
with me.
Sam, I have a similar appointment, so that means I have 3 conflicts now.
Yeah, we have locker.
6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
I think I'm gonna need to change something.
let's tentatively schedule the meeting for 10 o'clock Thursday, August 22nd, pending Samantha getting Melinda to agree that she can come. If she cannot, then we're going to have to look at maybe the 15th.
Okay.
How would the 15th work for you, Sheila, hypothetically?
Hypothetically, that would be good. I'll be getting in pretty late Wednesday night from a flight, but I could do it.
Bill, would the 15th work for you?
It would.
All right, let's keep it the 22nd.
Okay.
Check with Melinda when you can, Samantha, and assuming she can make it, we'll have it on the 22nd at 10.
Okay. And Jeff, I will see if I can change my daughter's appointment, because it is she's getting fitted for AFOs. So that way I can, I can shift that a little later. I bet you I'd be able to move that around. So
Okay.
we'll stick
Well,
with
if that's possible,
yeah,
that's
just,
fine.
yeah, I think I'd be able to do that.
Okay. All right, very good. So I think we're all set with the agenda. We've approved the minutes. We've got a meeting set up tentatively. If there's nothing else, I'm willing to hear a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second, and voted aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for being here. Meeting is hereby adjourned.